Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ali Qureshi and welcome to my channel, a place where I'm going to explore different topics that interest me and hopefully you too. In this video, I'm going to be talking about polarization and violence, specifically what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. As most of you already know, Ahmaud Arbery was a 25-year-old jogger that was murdered in the state of Georgia. I mentioned Ahmaud in the last video I made and how his murder had a huge impact on my life. Being a runner myself and knowing the feeling that putting on your shoes and just going for a run gives you, the freedom, the emotional stability, the time for reflection and meditation. So a lot of what I'm hearing now in the wake of the Black Lives Matter movements and the protests is that the protests are dividing us, the violence is dividing us, and that no good can come of this. I really don't see it that way. And I don't even see it as black versus white, I see it as racist versus non-racist. I wasn't the only one that felt in my heart that I wanted to honor Ahmaud Arbery. Two Stockholm natives, Araya Girmay and David Lenneman, organized a peaceful protest where joggers got together to honor Ahmaud Arbery.
I would say that it's very important for us to stand for what's happening to Black people all over the world, not just in the US. Black Lives Matter everywhere, not just over there. We do have things that happen here as well. Also here because I wanted to exercise a little bit. I wasn't born here, but I was raised here. You go through racism here, and it's kind of like a hidden racism, I would say. You know, you hear things every day.
It's important for us to run and support the work against racism and to show our support for all the black people that are being abused by the cops in America and all over the world.
We hope that people are looking, or the whole world is looking for what we are doing and that they are doing the same.
I think I felt like a lot of people that you just want to do something. You want to raise your voice and say that enough is enough. You want to show solidarity and the fight against racial injustice and racism. It's just a deep, profound urge to do something.
As an American in Sweden, I find it really powerful that the movement, let's remember it's not a moment, but a movement that is really taking hold in the US now is spreading throughout the world because racism is not just an American problem.
We have to use our platform as the people today to teach everyone that this is a problem that we have to take care of now.
It's awful to know that there are so many people, Black people and people of color, who can't feel safe when they take themselves out to the streets to try to do something as lovely and wonderful as running. That has meant so much to me in my life and in my health, both mental and physical, and it needs to be something that is safe for everybody.
African Swedes are those who are mostly targeted when it comes to police brutality and racial profiling. So the structural racism is real here in Sweden too. I usually say just have a conversation with yourself. What is it that provokes you? Try to listen, because the Black Lives Matter movement is a movement for equal rights, fighting injustice. So try to bear that in mind and, work with yourself.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Black Lives Matter!
Once again, we saw all types of people from different walks of life brought together with the urge for something better, for peace, for equality. Recently, in the Black Lives Matter protests in Gothenburg here in Sweden, there was quite a lot of violence and destruction. But who are the people actually being violent and destroying the property? If we look back to 2001 and the exact same city, we can see that the exact same thing happened.
Vi ska återvända till kravallerna i Göteborg, för kaos kantade ju inledningen av den första dagen av EU-toppmötet i Göteborg.
That time we also saw young people taking to the streets to protest against George Bush and the EU.
No justice! No peace!
It resulted in a lot of violence and a lot of destruction. A young man was even shot by the police and seriously wounded. The difference between then and now is that they were predominantly white kids in the protests, and they weren't protesting racism, they were protesting capitalism. At the end of the day, it's about oppression. People being pushed back until they feel they have to explode. Don't get me wrong, I'm a non-violent person. I understand and know the mechanisms of violence. People don't wake up one day and just decide to be violent and start destroying stuff. Some people have been pushed to the edge and feel the oppression, and some people don't. I can't tell anybody when they should feel oppressed or not. Okay, let me explain it like this. Let's say I'm standing here and I have a person standing next to me. A third person starts stabbing me with a knife. The person standing next to me is like, wow, I don't believe in knives. They don't exist. Stabbing? What's that? In the meantime, I'm standing here, dying. It's easy for the person next to me to say it doesn't exist, but I don't have that privilege or that luxury while I'm getting stabbed. Another thing that happened in Gothenburg was that a black Englishman named Murphy Alex actually intervened and stopped violence and destruction. For doing that, Alex has become sort of a hero here in Sweden. And don't get me wrong, Murphy Alex is brave and did do the right thing. But when media decide to idolize a person like Murphy Alex, it can become a bit problematic. You're either Murphy Alex, the good immigrant, or you're the evil Black Lives Matter protesters that are destroying the country and spreading around corona. We're going back into polarization and away from the actual issue, which is structural racism. As I said, guys, Murphy Alex is a bloody boss. I just don't really agree with the way the media use him. Most of the people that want to bring light to structural racism are not violent. They just aren't. But that's all we hear and that's all we see. And what can we do? We can be the good immigrant, or we can be saved by the good immigrant. Respect, Murphy Alex, you're the fucking governor. I don't care if you're white or black or male or female, gay or straight. I respect you as a human being, as a person. But I still acknowledge the existence of structural racism. I don't have to be a violent, bad person to acknowledge structural racism. It's a virus that we're all living with. People taking to the streets and protesting is nothing new. What about the French Revolution? What about the kids in the 60s and 70s here in Sweden? What about the American Civil Rights Movement? What about the Arab Spring? For those of you that know a bit about psychology and nature, when you back a living being into a corner, it will fight back. Something I've noticed with this whole situation are the similarities to the Me Too movement. Just as a lot of sexual predators and rapists went down around the world in the Me Too movement, I have a feeling a lot of racists are going to be going down in the world in the same way. Here in Sweden, a TV show host named Alexander Bard, a known racist, tweeted out some really racist and ignorant things. After massive protests and a push from Sweden's most famous blogger, Alexander Bard was fired. More examples. Nikolaus Pisanias, the owner of Seitan Foods, a vegan food company, just went out of business for tweeting out racist views. Greg Glassman, the CEO and founder of CrossFit, just stepped down for tweeting out racist commentary. So, the way I see it, we have a chance to make the world a better place by learning about structural racism. We can go for a run like Araya and David. We could be brave like Murphy Alex. But the best thing I think we can do as a collective and as individuals is take in the knowledge about structural racism and change from the inside out. That's all I had, guys. Thanks a lot.